Arboreal vengeance.
Let her do it. Probably has her reasons. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Monster Vlogs.
Yes.
I'm Charlie.
I'm Haley.
I haven't shaved, but whatever.
I have no makeup on. We're informal around here.
Yeah. So, we just saw The Evil Dead, which, yes, was the winner of the original 1982. Sam Raimi, written and directed, Bruce Campbell starring. It was the winner of the poll from the Babadook, no thanks to Alessandra.
No.
I kind of wanted to see this one, too. So, and I had seen it before.
Have you?
Yeah. So...
Like, all the way through?
Yeah, all the way through, just kind of with one headphone out, the other headphone almost all the way out. Back when it was on Netflix for a good long while. But this is going to be kind of a hard one to talk about, because A, what can we say that hasn't already been said?
Well, we can talk about how we feel about it.
Well, yeah, we can. Obviously, that's kind of the point of these vlogs, too. Yes. But the other part is, because the sequels kind of took on this air of comedy to it, especially with, I only saw
Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and the sequel TV series on Starz, Ash vs. the Evil Dead, which I've only seen the pilot episode of, and it is great. But it begs the question, have the sequels, and including the TV series, tainted the atmosphere of this one?
Well, I haven't seen any of the sequels or the TV series.
But you know about them.
I know about
You know that they take kind of a comedic turn.
I've figured out which shots were in Evil Dead 2 and which are in the original now. So yeah. Like, where's the one with, like, the gratuitous amounts of blood? Oh, that's in the sequel.
Yeah. That's when he had a budget.
This was shoestringed together, and I love it so much for that. I love how homemade this is. So I'm like, I could do that. We could do that.
We could probably literally do everything.
We could pull that together.
Except the camera work. That is exceptional artistry.
I love the camera work. Oh my goodness. That was amazing camera work. Like,
I probably tried it in the opening skit to this one, but
we
probably failed miserably.
No. We will shoot for the stars. Or whatever that was. That wasn't stars.
We'll see. We will see. But
I do really like how shoestringed it was. Like, it didn't matter. The continuity, what continuity?
Yeah, at one point Bruce Campbell would have blood on his nose, and the next shot, all over his face.
And then the next shot, clean. Clean as he just stepped out of the malt shop.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. And, like, it does not matter, so it's so homey.
Like, it almost has this sense that it knows, it almost has, like, a sense of self-awareness to it.
And it
like,
was
it
humorous.
Knows that it's a movie.
It was, there were some very humorous parts, but it wasn't more humorous than it was.
But was that intentional?
I don't know. Or, I know the humor was intentional.
Well, obviously the humor was intentional, but were the parts we found funny humorous because they were, or because of just
well, like I said, I haven't seen the other one. I don't have any.
I haven't seen the other. I've only seen Army of Darkness, and that one is probably the most comedic out of the 3 Sam Raimi movies. I almost said 4, but of the 3 Sam Raimi
Evil Dead movies.
it's the most comedic and most slapstick, and everybody just kind of like pushes it to the wayside. It's basically the Back to the Future 3 of the trilogy.
I will say this. I'm glad I did not see this film before my family did a lot of camping in cabins. Because we stayed in some janky-ass cabins.
And it was shot in Tennessee, like Morristown, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Like up in the.
I've been camping up in North Alabama. It's just very similar. I'm very glad I waited to see this movie.
Do you want to go camping in a cabin now?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're awesome.
Right on.
And we're not stupid. I subscribe.
What book with human-bound flesh? What is this? Now, does this movie really have a plot that we can follow? It's just teenagers go to a cabin and unleash...
20-somethings, really.
20-somethings go to a cabin for the weekend and literally unleash
demons that were already kind of in the forest. Like, you got the feeling from the camera work.
Camera work...
They woke up some sleeping demons. Like,
yeah, basically. I mean, and it even says in the tape that they may lay dormant even though they are not. Even though they're dead, they may just lay dormant until awoken again.
Like,
so,
it would have happened to anyone who went in that cabin, basically.
But it just had to be Bruce Campbell.
And Bruce Campbell had a really good character arc. Because he started out definitely, of the two guys in the cast, he was definitely the
blandest one.
Well, not even bland, but like less active.
Yeah.
He was not the alpha. The bro-y plaid guy was the alpha.
And I think that's why a lot of people really latch onto his character, because he does kind of grow into the hero role by the end of the movie. And even though it's through a lot of reluctancy, because of course it's his own sister that's possessed, it's his own girlfriend that's possessed, it's his sister's friends that are possessed and all that stuff. So I mean,
you really get like
literally put yourself in that situation. What would you do? Of course.
And I appreciate this more than like any other kind of demon possession, ghoul, zombie sort of movie, that the slip into sociopathy was much slower. Like, it took him a long time to be able to inflict harm on the vessel that once contained his loved ones.
And even then, it was all out of self-defense.
Yes, I appreciated that.
Like, he couldn't find himself, or he couldn't find it in himself to shoot her with a shotgun. He couldn't find it in himself to dismember her with a chainsaw
or a shovel.
Well, the shovel
that was in self-defense.
That was in self-defense. But everything else, it's just can't do it. Again, put yourself in that situation. You can't.
like actually put yourself in that situation. I'm just saying, a lot of like that slide from this is my family member, I can't do anything to harm them, to this is no longer the person, I'm going to defend myself. And it's a lot slipperier in other movies.
It even took his friend like a couple sayings of like kill her, or like hit her, hit it.
Yeah.
Like, it took him a couple, like, it took some time to get into there. He had to shift his brain.
And like that's realistic. I mean, a lot of people, think they're gonna turn into Rambo once the zombie apocalypse hits. No, it's hard.
Like, this is probably one of the more realistic depictions. Sequels, not so much, but
and I did like the fact that in that scene, like, Bruce Campbell was just kind of hiding in the corner. He was sort of sick and disgusted and had no idea what to do. He was frozen. That is a very common symptom of fear, is just freezing.
Now, but because it is a shoestring kind of independent film, acting really in there.
The acting was okay.
The acting was okay. I mean, it
was okay. We've all seen worse.
Admittedly, yes.
Like, I believe that they were people. I believe that they were actually people.
Well, that's what you get with independent films. Like, you get people who actually care.
But even if it was very shoestringed and homemade, it didn't skimp on tension.
No.
Like,
No. And that's...
it doesn't matter how fake those effects looked. I was still intrigued.
No, and going in, that's one of the things that I was afraid of that would happen, because the question that I posed at the top of this video was, like, have the sequels tainted the atmosphere? Not one bit. I mean, we still see a little bit of the comedy in there, just because it is Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, and his reactions to a lot of things are unintentionally hilarious, but that's why we love him. Mm-hmm. That's why he's the jack of all trades, and the Briscoe County Kid, and the Doorman and Spider-Man.
Don't hurt yourself.
Too.
Don't hurt yourself.
But, I mean, obviously that's half the reason why a lot of people gravitate towards Bruce Campbell, just because he's unintentionally funny, and he really carries this movie. Like, after a certain point, he just picks up this...
Well, it starts by following Cheryl, the girl.
Yeah,
and she's kind of the emotional center, but once she gets possessed, like, it switches to Bruce.
Yeah, the girl who played Cheryl did a pretty good job, was suitably distressed, but do you think that was just all set up for her possession? Like,
very possibly.
Like Sam Raimi was singling her out specifically to say to the audience, she's going down first. Well, even though there's a lot of misdirection as to who will bite it first.
Well, what is this, 82?
82, yeah.
When did Halloween come out?
78 or 79.
Okay, so there's Halloween. There's Friday the 13th.
That was also 80.
All of them had final girls who kind of set it up being the emotional center of their films, and I think that was deliberate subversion. Like, she's like the emotional one and the intuitive one, and you think, oh, she's going to be the final girl, and nope.
No. And then you think it's going to be Bruce Campbell's girlfriend, and nope. You think it's going to be the other girl.
The other girl, no.
All the girls kind of die first.
And then very, like, they're the most active as far as, like, when they become ghouls as well.
Yeah, like, the only thing the guy does is just get his eyes gouged out, and...
Like, he doesn't really do much, as a Deadite until the end.
But I was kind of interested in how you would take Bruce Campbell being essentially the final girl in this movie.
I think it worked for his character. I was glad he, like, I was, because I couldn't remember how the end of this one goes, because my mind's been muddied by the sequels. I was like, what's going to happen to him? What's going to happen to Bruce? What's going to happen?
Like, you really don't know. But, yeah, it's for, like, a first-time outing with a movie like this, it's pretty good.
For a homemade movie.
For a homemade, like, humble film. It's...
Like, I figured this is kind of like the gold standard for your DIY horror movie. Like, every college kid...
Gold standard is probably Night of the Living Dead, but...
That you consider that a student film? Like, thrown together?
Well...
How much of a budget did Night of the Living Dead have? How much of a budget did this one have?
Yeah, it's on screen right now. So...
But, I mean, Night of the Living Dead, they were trying to make a film. Like a film.
Yeah, George Romero was basically trying to set out to make this message of a film. Sam Raimi just wanted to make a film.
Yeah. That's what I mean by gold standard of your DIY horror film. Like,
so,
for every kid that wants to go out there and be Pete Jackson in Dead Alive has got, like, a tub full of corn syrup in one hand.
I think that was a couple years after
and a bunch of fake body parts in the other hand. It's like, we're gonna make a movie, guys! This is the gold standard for that film.
We got a cameraman? Hell yeah, we got a cameraman.
My buddy Eduardo, he's our camera guy. He's tall, right? Yeah. Let's do this thing.
And I think because we are so, like, I can't. I think because we are so familiar with all these filmmaking tactics, we can kind of see the seams in it.
It's very guerrilla.
It's incredibly guerrilla.
Or as people used to guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah.
It uses a lot of the same tactics. Like, there was this one dolly shot where they're following a car, and it's from a very high angle. And I'm like, how did they get this shot? And you're like...
It's probably the guy standing on a truck bed going in reverse.
Or, like, he's standing on the truck bed, like, with his elbows and the tripod on the ceiling of the cab.
Mm-hmm. That, too.
I can see that happening. That's more steady that way.
More steady that way. Not the company or the movie, just midnight. But...
Love that camera work.
Love the camera. Another really good shot that I like
all
is
those
when
tracking
Bruce...
shots. How did they do that?
It's been proven and confirmed, but I for the life of me can't recall. But the one shot that I really love is almost like exactly the type of shot that Joss Whedon used in The Avengers, where it's like showing Bruce Campbell from the back upside down, and then it just kind of pulls around the top of his head and reveals him in close up.
When was that in Avengers?
See? It's this one right here, dear. Do you remember it? Can you see it? They can see it.
That's nice.
Good movie.
Yes.
It's not perfect by any means whatsoever, but it's the imperfections that give it its charm.
Yes. Oh, and it had probably one of my favorite Screw the Ghost moment. What I am calling a Screw the Ghosts moment is it's in a scene where Ash is running down to the cellar to get the extra shells for the rifle. And all the excrement is hitting the rotary propeller. And all the crazy stuff is happening. There's blood coming from the ceiling, and he's hearing the voices of everyone who's dead, and he just starts shut up. And you see this look of determination get on his face, and he grits his teeth, and he's like, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna friggin' do this thing.
That's a true Undertale. How?
I should have seen that coming. But it's a Screw the Ghost moment. It's the point where it's like, we have the main characters reached beyond the fear component, and it's like, I don't give a crap what is in front of me and what all hell is ahead of me. I no longer care. I'm just mad. It was a very good screw the ghost moment.
We gotta use that somewhere else, but yeah, good movie. I like it.
Yes.
What did Haley draw today? Her hand was not possessed.
No.
I guarantee it. Her hand was not possessed. So.
I'm experimenting with.
It is very
Monster
symmetrical.
Girls and seeing how far I can take standards of beauty before they reach Uncanny Valley. And playing with symbolism and symmetricality and so forth.
There's really no point in asking if this was horrifying in 1982. It's still
pretty tense.
As an entry, I would say this is an entry-level horror film.
Yes.
This definitely is an entry level. Not because of the craft of it. Like, of course, this is what you get into before you move on to Army of Darkness and stuff like that.
And if you're a person that's not a fan of gore, the effects are so blatantly fabricated.
Even more so in the sequel.
It's a good way to ease in.
So, yeah. It's got a few jump scares here and there, but they're all set up with a little bit of misdirection, and they just come right after that.
I mean, nothing that bugged you.
No, they made me jump a couple times, but that's the desired effect of a jump scare. But these are really good jump scares. These aren't like crappy misdirection jump scares like Friend. There are a couple of those.
They don't substitute loud sound for actual tension.
Absolutely not. No. But yeah, so. As an entry-level horror film, Death Watch. What's next time? Should we put it to another vote?
We should put it to another vote.
Okay. Can I pick this time?
You pick 3.
I will pick 3. Okay.
What's missing up there?
Our picks, or my picks this time. Next time, again, you get to vote. Let's see. From the Atomic Age, them. Giant ant movie.
Yay.
One that we picked up on a whim because it was cheap. I have not heard good things about this movie. Treehouse. From, I think, 2014?
Maybe.
2013? It's a newer horror film, but I have heard nothing but... Oh boy!
One of those you're just going through trailers on YouTube and it's like, this looks okay.
Yeah. And last but not least, another Atomic Age thriller. Godzilla. So, these are your choices. We are kind of pitting giant monster against giant monster against modern day schlock.
Who knows what lurks with shadow does?
Because I think we have plans for at least this, definitely this. This one requires probably a little more than just a sit-downy kind of vlog.
Well, I've never seen it before, so we can at least get first reactions.
Okay, fair enough.
So put it back up.
Put it back up there?
Yes, so the card can...
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to put them on screen right now.
Good. My arms are getting tired anyway.
If you like this, be sure to click our faces to subscribe. Last time we watched The Babadook. That you can watch right over there and get our incredibly visceral reactions to that. Oh boy. We got a link to the playlist of all the old Universal Monster movies that we saw.
Okay.
And go ahead and
subscribe
by clicking our faces again, like,
share,
and these three will be over there.
Don't forget Patreon.
We got Patreon.
Help us get more movies so we don't have just one shelf to pick from.
Yeah, we
one shelf in public domain.
One shelf and YouTube.
Pretty much.
So, yeah. Come join us. Come join us. Come join us.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
Yeah.